Yes. Okay. Hello everyone. This is Chiran from Chess Brains. So welcome to Chess Brains practice game, and we are going to see today the Evergreen Game. So Evergreen Game, it's a famous game among the chess players. It is played between two players. So the one player who is playing white here, his name is Adolf Anderson, and the player playing from the black, his name is Jean Dufresne. I'm not sure am I pronouncing the name properly or not, but it's okay. We'll start the game. So basically, when we talk about the players, both are from German. So Jean is actually the student of Adolf Anderson. So he's a student. So they both played the game. So we'll just start it. Okay, we'll start from white. White plays d4, knight f6. So knight f3, b6. So it's a queen pawn opening. e3, bishop to b7. So the basic idea here is black is not pushing his pawn to the centers, but he is taking control over the centers. So that's the basic plan in now black's plan. That's what black is doing now. So now white plays bishop to d3. He's just preparing for a castling. So when we see the games of the top players, so what they usually do is they will just follow the basic principles. So that's important for all of us. So even we prefer our students to follow all the basic principles. So you can see white has developed his center pawn. Next, white gone for developing his minor pieces. Now white is ready to do castling here. So okay, we'll just continue the game. Black plays e6, castle, c5. So now the idea of c5 is black already allowed white to capture the center, means push the pawn to the center. So now he is trying to attack the center. So he's not allowing white to do it. Okay. So now, so for c5, so now the question for all of you, is it correct? Is it a correct way to capture the pawn, or it's not a correct move for white? So I want everyone to answer. So is it the correct, or is there any problem to capture the pawn? That's the question. Okay. Can we capture the black pawn on c5, or is there any issue if we capture the pawn? Okay. So I want everyone to answer. Is it good to capture the c5 pawn, or it's not good for white? Okay. So I want everyone to answer. Good. Okay. I want everyone to try. Even if it is wrong, no worries. We will learn today. Okay. So now we prefer not to capture the c5 pawn. The main reason here is, if we capture the pawn, black bishop will capture the pawn back. That means black bishop will be developed. So we should not allow our opponent pieces to get developed. So we will avoid it. As well as we are keeping the pawn in the center, if we move this pawn, so our pawn in the center will be disturbed. So that's why we prefer not to capture this one. So we'll white plays here c3. You can check here. So white is maintaining the pyramid structure. So we'll call it as pyramid structure, or even there is one more name. Can anyone try to answer what we'll call for these pawns? So what is the name of these pawns? Can anyone answer? I think most of you know this thing. So can you tell me what we will call for this one? These three pawns. These three connected pawns. Okay, so we will call it as chain pawns. Chain pawns or connected pawns. So chain pawns are very powerful. So we prefer all the students to keep the chain pawns in every game, because these three pawns are very helpful. Not only these three pawns, but the chain pawns. So black plays knight c6, queen to e2, bishop to e7. So even black is also trying to castle here, as well as when we check the position, black, all the minor piece is developed. So minor piece basically means bishops and knights are called minor piece. Bishops and knights are called minor piece. So here black, all the pieces are developed here. So white plays knight to e5. Black plays d6. So the reason is black is not going to capture the knight. If he captures the knight, white pawn will come and sit in the center. That's the problem here. So that's why black is not capturing the knight. So black is trying to attack the knight. So he's trying to attack the knight. The reason is he wants this knight to move away out of the center squares. So we usually call these four pawns as the center squares. These four squares are the center squares. So if any piece or pawns in the center are very strong. So that's why white knight is sitting in the center square. So black is not allowing white to sit in the center. He's attacking the knight. So white captures, black captures, bishop to b5. So now one more topic comes, that is a good bishop or a strong bishop. You can see here, as we castled in this direction, the bishop is aiming towards the king. So bishop is aiming towards the king. So white wants to cancel this bishop or exchange the bishop, because white thought this bishop is very strong. So he is trying to exchange the bishop. So now when we check the position, black has no option. He cannot move his bishop back because this bishop is under pin. The c6 bishop is under pin, so he cannot move his bishop. So black played queen d7. So he's not allowing, means the black is not capturing the bishop. The reason is if he captures the bishop, white queen will come out. White queen will be developed. So to avoid all these things, he played queen d7. He is forcing white to capture the bishop. So white captured, black captured, knight to d2. Okay, for knight to d2, castle, d captures the pawn, pawn captures the pawn. So here, this is one of the game that we saw till now. So it gives us some of the ideas of the opening. So now we will go for our famous game, that is Evergreen Game. So we'll go for the Evergreen Game that we are waiting till now. So Evergreen Game is a game played between two players. Again, as I said in the starting, Jean and Adolf. So we'll start the game. White plays e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, bishop to c5. Now white plays b4. So now white plays b4. So now I want everyone to answer if you know this theory name. What's the name of this theory? Because white is sacrificing a pawn. So I want everyone to answer it. So what's the name of this theory? What's the name of this theory? Can anyone tell me what? If you know, you can tell me, otherwise we will learn. So what's the name of the theory? Okay. Okay, so we'll learn. This is called Ivan's Gambit. Gambit means basically giving a free pawn. Giving a free pawn is called gambit, but they will not give a free pawn easily. They will give a free pawn to get some advantage. So we'll learn why this Ivan's Gambit is played. So he captures, black captures the pawn. He captures with the bishop. Now white plays c3. He's trying to attack the bishop. Bishop goes back. d4. So now actually white has given a pawn. White gave a pawn on b4, but yes, perfect, Suvir. Perfect. Ivan's Gambit. So if I think most of you are using your parents' ID, just try to write your names along with the answer. So that will be helpful. So d4, pawn captures the pawn. Now one more question for all of you. Is it possible to capture this pawn? Can we capture this pawn? One more question for all of you. Okay. Okay, or what happens if we capture the pawn? Okay, we'll. Very good, Suvit. Perfect. So there is a pin, so that's why we cannot capture it. Perfect. S4 family, perfect. Okay, Rishikesh, perfect. There's a pin, perfect. Okay, all of you are answering. Perfect, good. So this is called absolute pin. So there are two types of pin in chess. One is relative pin and absolute pin. Perfect, Suvir. Yes, okay, yeah. S4 family, we cannot take the king, but the bishop will attack the king. So that's why the pawn cannot capture it. White does castling. He's giving a pawns. He gave one pawn here and he's giving one pawn here. So why he is giving the pawn basically means he to get advantage of development of pieces. He wants to develop his pieces. So that's why he gave a pawn. So black plays d3. So here a very good move that will usually players play from black. The reason is if he captures the pawn, there may be attack of queen d5 or there may be some attacks. Attack may come on bishop a3 and all. So that's why black is not capturing the pawn and he's not leaving there also. The reason is think black plays some random move like knight f6. The white will play e5. Knight g4, white is going to capture the center. So both the pawns will be in the center. It will be advantage for white. So that's why, so what black did here is he played d3. So that these pawns, all the three pawns will connect, means will be there as disconnected. It will be not connected to each other. So white just captures the pawn. Okay, first he is not capturing because anyway white knows that he is going to get this pawn in the future. So now when he plays queen b3, he is trying to capture the f7 pawn with the help of the queen. So there are two attacks. So we need to check how many attacks and how many defense are there. So on the f7 pawn, there is two attacks from the bishop as well as the queen. But there is only one support, that is the king. So that means white can capture that pawn very easily. So what black did is black played queen f6. So he is supporting the pawn from the queen. White played e5. He is giving one more pawn. But this time it is not safe to take this pawn. Okay, now I want everyone to answer, if black captures this pawn, what is the good move for white? So if black captures the pawn on e5, what white can play? Okay, good. Yes. Okay. Yes, for family for rook e1, he will play pawn to d6. He'll just support the knight. Yes. Okay. Rishikesh knight e5, rook e1 again. Suvir, if for knight e5, if we play rook to e1, the pawn is coming to d6. Yeah, even Suvit, the pawn will come and support it, right? So then there'll be no problem for black. So the simple idea here is white will just capture it. When the queen captures, the bishop will go to f7 and it will give a check. So that's the idea behind giving a free pawn. So that's why what black thought is anyway, he's going to capture it. Perfect. S4 family, perfect. Good. Okay, so you can try one more time. Okay. Yeah, good. So now to avoid this, black played queen g6. Black played queen g6. Still, the queen is supporting the pawn. So he's not leaving the support. So white played bishop a3. So now I want everyone to answer why white played bishop e3. What's the use of bishop a3? Okay, good. What's the idea of bishop to a3? There is a chance for white to develop his bishop to g5 also, but he's developing on a3. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, I will check the answer. Okay, I got one answer from Suvit. Perfect, Suvit. Even that's correct. Rishikesh, very good. Perfect. Suvir, very good. Perfect. So all of you are good. So all of you found the answer. That's great. So while castling, the king should go to g8 square. So to avoid castling, the bishop is controlling the f8 square. So that's the idea of bishop to a3. Very good, all of you. Everyone answers perfect. So now black played knight e7. So now black came to know what's the idea of white. So he just blocked the bishop's diagonal so that he can castle easily. So now rook to e1, b5. So the reason of b5 is he wants to develop his rook and bishop. His rook and bishop are still inside. So anyway, black is having 2 pawns extra. He is giving 1 pawn back for a white so that he can develop his pieces. So white cannot ignore it because the pawn is attacking the bishop. So white just captured the pawn. As per the plan, black played rook to b8. Queen goes to a4. Now bishop to b6. He shifts his bishop to the strong diagonal so that black may have chance to attack in the future for a white king. So knight goes to d2. Bishop to b7. You can see what black is still delaying castling. Black is trying to develop all his pieces. So knight to e4. So now white is when you check the piece placements of the white, all the pieces are very active. So in the same way, when we check the black pieces, Is pieces are developed, all the pieces have been developed, but they are not active. Active means basically they cannot move properly. They have less squares to move. So these, you can see all the squares for this bishop is blocked because they have only two squares, which if they move to the scene, these two squares, it will be not much useful. So that's why he played for knight e4, he played queen f5, bishop captures the d3 pawn. Now white captures the d3 pawn. So now white captures the d3 pawn. So what may be the idea of white in the next move? So try to find the next move of white. Think if black plays any random move like a6. So what can white play in the next move? There is very good move for white here. If black plays any random move. Yeah, good. If black plays any random move like a6, perfect. S4 family, perfect, perfect. Okay, everyone answers perfect. Suvit, Suvir, Rishikesh, perfect. So yeah. So Rishikesh, yeah, just check the square name. The knight can go to d6 or knight can go to f6. Both will work. Both will work. The knight can go to d6 and also capture from the bishop, or the knight can go to f6 and capture from the bishop. So we'll call it as discovered attack. Perfect, S4 family, perfect. So we'll call it as discovered attack. We'll just check it. If black plays any random move, we will play knight to d6. The knight is attacking the king and the bishop is attacking the queen. Discovered attack. So if black captures the knight, we'll just go and capture his queen. So it will be very easy. Now white got an extra queen or more points so that white can win it easily. So black saw this and instead of playing a6 any random move, black played queen h5. So what black did is, black moves his queen away from this diagonal. He moved his queen away from this diagonal. So knight goes to f6, check. So now from here the fun begins actually. So we'll see why Adolf Anderson is a great chess player. This game is played in 1852. It's almost 170 years ago. Still we are seeing this game and we named it as the Evergreen Game. So why we named it as Evergreen Game? From this position or from this move, we will get to know. So white gave first piece sacrifice. This is the first sacrifice. Sacrifice means giving a free piece or giving a higher value piece to a lower value piece to get some advantage. So he is giving a free knight here. So but he is trying to get something. We will learn, means we'll check what's the idea of white. So black captures the knight. White captures the pawn. So now the question for all of you. Is it good for black to castle now? Is it good for black to castle now? Or is there any problem for black if he castles? Okay. S4 family said no. Perfect, S4 family, perfect. Rishikesh, perfect. No, good answer. Good. Perfect, Sumit, very good. So when we castle on the king side, if the black castles on the king side, the pawn in front of the king, right? If he castles, the pawn in front of the king is not there. That means the king is not in safe. White can attack black very easily, especially black king. So you can attack the black king very easily. So to avoid it, black cannot castle. So black just kept his king in the center itself. He played rook g8. So now I want everyone to check what's the idea of rook g8. What black is trying to do in the next move. What's the idea of rook g8 in this position? Yeah, it is great to see everyone is trying and everyone is answering perfectly. That's great. So everyone is too strong in the middle game. I can observe here. Okay, now good. So what's the idea of rook to g8? Okay. Perfect, Suvir. Very good. Suvir answers perfect. Suvit answer perfect. Good. Good, good. Okay, everyone found it. That's great. Perfect. Rishikesh, perfect. Good. So the idea here is the rook is pinning the pawn. This is called pin. So if white plays any random move like rook d1 or any other move, black will capture the queen. So black queen will capture the knight. The reason is white cannot capture it because of the pin. Perfect, Swanand. Correct answer. So queen into f3 is coming here. So but what white is thinking is white is not at all thinking about this move. So white played a move called rook a d1. So you can see so how Adolf Anderson is playing the game. He is not at all worrying about the pieces, but he is making a big plan. So he's making a big plan or big idea to finish the game, to checkmate the opponent. He's making a big plan. So we'll just see what's the plan. So black got a chance and he captures the knight. So from here the game starts. It's more fun. From here we will learn why this game is called Evergreen Game. So now you can see black is trying to capture the pawn and he's trying to do a checkmate. So we'll check how white blocks it or how white defends it. So first move is rook to e7. A very good move by white. So the thing is the king cannot go to f8. So in the game actually black captures the rook. Now the question for you, if black plays king f8, what we can do? If black plays king to f8, what we can do? If king goes to f8, what we can do here? Very good, Suhil. Perfect answer. Good. Okay. Rishikesh, we can do that as well, but there is one better move than that. Can you find it? There is one better move than that. Okay. Perfect, Suvit. Perfect answer. Yes. Perfect, Suvit. So it is discovered attack. So we can call it as discovered check. So if king goes to f8, we'll just move rook to e3. When he defends a check, we'll capture the queen. That's it. We got an extra queen. So that's why black is not doing the same. He played knight captures the rook. He's capturing the rook. And one more option here is he may play king to d8. So for king to d8, now white will just keep on capturing the pawns. The reason is now his rook is also in the open file. So if king goes to c8, he'll just keep on giving everything. King goes, bishop to f5 check, queen captures, queen captures. Now it will be a checkmate soon because the queen is entering and it will be a checkmate. So that's why even king to d8 is also not possible. So he captured the rook. That's the game. So now comes a very good move. Queen captures the d7. So you can see how uh, white is playing. He's giving up pieces one by one. He's giving a free. Not he's not taking it back, but he's giving it everything for free. So now the question, next question is very easy. If king goes to f8, what white will play? So if king goes to f8, what white can play? It's an easy move. Okay, what white can play here? Okay, perfect. Suvir, perfect. Suvit, perfect. Good. Good, good. Okay, Rishikesh, perfect. Yeah. So everyone got the answer. Good. So the reason is if king goes to f8, there is two types of mate. One, he can capture from the bishop, or he can capture from the queen. He can do both. He can do both. So that's the reason he is not going to f8. So that's why he has only one option to capture the queen. Now white plays bishop to f5. So now one more question for all of you. Is it possible to capture the bishop? Is it possible to capture the bishop? Or what we will call for this? If we cannot capture, what we will call for this? What's the name of it? Okay. Okay, good, good. Okay, I'm getting answers. Good. What happens if black queen captures the bishop? Perfect. Okay, perfect, Rishikesh. Good. Okay, Suvit, even it's a discovered check, correct? Suvir, even it's a double check, correct? So we can call it as discovered check or double check. Yes, double check. Very good. Very good. So perfect, Swanan. Swanan correct, Suvit correct, perfect. So it's a double check. Even it's a discovered check. So but when it goes to this square, it will become a double check. So we'll call it as double check. Now, so now the king has two options. The king can either go to e8 square or it can come to c6 square. There is two options for black. So in the game, the king goes to e8 square. So now the question for all of you again, if king comes to c6 square, what white can play? If king comes to c6, what white can play? Okay, what is the best move for white? Okay, good. Okay, good, good. Okay. Okay, it's great to see everyone is trying to answer and everyone is answering perfectly. So that's great. Very good, Rishikesh. Good. Good. Okay. Good. I think it's very easy, right? So all of you can get it easily. Good, Sovi. Perfect. Good, Swanan. Good. Yeah. So the answer is bishop to d7 is a checkmate. So when we check the position, both the bishops are blocking the king as well as attacking the king. So they are completely blocking all the squares where the king can move. it's a checkmate. So that's why the king goes to e8. Still, it's a checkmate. So I want everyone to find its checkmate in two moves. So I want everyone to find its checkmate in two moves and white to play. Okay, good. Okay, everyone is trying to answer. Great, great, good. Yes, okay. So with perfect answer. Good. Okay, it's very easy. It's easy checkmate in two moves. Good. So okay, yeah, I got the answer, and even all of you got the answer. So bishop to d7 check. So the king can go to two squares. Either it can go to d8 or f8. So but whichever squares the king moves, it is going to get a checkmate. King goes to f8. Bishop to e7 checkmate. So when we look at the position now, white is down with rook as well as a queen. So white is down with rook and a queen, but still white is managed to do a checkmate. So that's why this game is called the Evergreen Game, because he gave lots of sacrifices and lots of free pieces to make the game very beautiful. So and he finishes the game in a good manner, and it was a really good game played by Adolf Anderson. So as I said in the starting, even Jean, who is playing from the black, he is a student of Adolf Anderson. So they both played a game. Again, a very good game from both of you, from both of them. And again, it was played in 1852. Still, we are remembering this game. The reason is because of the quality of the game, as well as because of the move that was played by Adolf Anderson. So, okay, good. So, I hope everyone enjoyed the game and everyone was answering very good. So, we will end the game here, and we will come up with a new game again soon. And Chess Brains is looking forward to meet you all soon. Okay, have a great day and good night, everyone. Okay, bye bye. So this is Chirant again from the Chess Brains. Bye bye. So we'll surely meet soon in the next game.